feels so strange to be back. What's up? It's Comic Book Nation. We are your one show doing things for all things geek culture. I didn't even get the intro right. I still got to get back in the swing of things. Matt, maybe you want to intro us. You've been having the better practice lately.
Do I? Oh, man. Yeah. Well, okay. Number one, let's just celebrate. Comic Book Nation has a YouTube page.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Everyone, welcome to the awesome show. It is great to have Kofi back. I am one of your hosts, Matt Aguilar, and of course, we have the amazing Janelle Wheeler.
Hello.
And with us, we have Jim Viscardi. How are you?
Welcome, everybody. Hello.
The gas lamp.
I am excited to be here.
Straight out the gas lamp district of San
Bring
Diego.
nothing but chaos to this show. I'm sorry.
Oh, you stay in Gaslamp? Ew.
No.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
When I go for TwitchCon, it's Little Italy all the way.
That's literally where everything else is happening. It only happens in the gas lamp.
I know,
Wow.
but like you need to find a way to escape the madness.
Settle down, TwitchCon. We're here to promote a YouTube page today.
Also, Kofi is repping the shirt there. You gotta love it. You gotta
Love it.
The shirt. There it is. Yeah.
I think
All right,
Jim, you're wearing the old school
I'm
one,
wearing
aren't you?
just a normal comic book.
Yeah.
Jim's always we got to rep all sides of the brand. We got a lot to rep
That's
here.
right.
So yeah, we are Comic Book Nation. I am back. My lovely co-hosts have been holding it down the last couple weeks because July got real busy. So yeah, thank you guys for holding it down, especially last week while we were all at this time scrambling around San Diego Comic-Con trying to cover things. We were just moments away from poor Matt Smith getting his Morbin time question and having to face those demons. But yeah. So we're back from San Diego Comic-Con, and, it's been a week. There's been a lot of time to kind of let the information sift out, do the follow-up reporting, and kind of get where we're at. And so we're going to kind of talk about that stuff, see where we're at now, and talk about some of the highlights we saw and kind of, like I said, what is the state of affairs since then. We're also going to do some reviews because we got to catch up on some things. The Gray Man came out. We got to talk about that. I'm going to talk about Nope movie real quick. And we got to celebrate because Harley Quinn season 3 is now here.
The best news.
Yeah, and we may be able to finally knock out one of our long-running features in this comic book lineup now that it's back. We won't say any more about that, but it's a controversial topic, and we may finally get to it. We also are going to talk about wrestling because there's some big things happening in wrestling coming up. We have Summerslam. There's some other big events. Matt and Jim are here to kind of break down all the wrestling because, all our wrestling fans, we got to take care of you guys too. We will also be talking comics because this is a podcast based in comic books, as you can see from the logo. So we have some exciting new comics to talk about as well. Like I said, we hit all things, all sides, geek culture. But let's stop at the top with some breaking news. We try to get all professional in season 4 and plan this show early and have it on place. We got media stuff now. We have Peter in the background holding down the boards and really kind of letting us do some awesome things. But, we can't ever plan too early because if you know this show's long and infamous history, you know that things be happening as soon as we think we're safe. And, we got topics locked down. And last night was no exception as they announced that fresh off his wedding, I think Jim pointed this out, after those Jennifer Lopez nuptials, everything changes. And Ben Affleck is coming back as Batman again. So, Batfleck's making a return. This time he will be showing up in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which will be with Jason Momoa. We also already know he's going to be in the Flash movie. And so some interesting questions from this. Matt, do you think that in some way Jennifer Lopez is helping us realign the universe and getting us out of a period of deep chaos?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent answer.
Because J-Lo fixes all things. J-Lo fixes all things. My camera is being spazzy right now. But yeah, she fixes all things, and I put all the faith in her. Ever since she delivered that amazing halftime show, she can do no wrong, and she has now fixed the DC universe. My favorite Batman is back, at least for a movie or two. Now it's just so weird because I'm very conflicted. I want the DC universe to kind of move forward, but then every time he comes back, it's I get one more movie. I get one more little bit of Batfleck because he's my favorite movie Batman. But I love Pattinson as Batman. So I was kind of ready to move on, and I knew the Flash was happening, but it was kind of was a weird outlier because it had Michael Keaton too and like a bunch of stuff. So I was like, okay, I can write that off. But now he's an Aquaman. It's like they just won't let me grieve and move on. I just want to move on with my life and not be in this back and forth. It's like being in a weird marriage that I can't seem to get out.
We live in a world where we have 3 Batmen now, and they're all great. Ben Affleck, Robert Pattinson, and Michael Keaton. Like,
can't wait for Batman Homecoming and arguably Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Look, we're spoiled right now. Spoiled. I just look, this makes sense, right? Given the weird like bromance that the two of them kind of built that we saw in the Snyder Cut of all things. I can buy, right, like, you know, Aquaman and Batman showing up in Aquaman, just with a lot less Norwegian singing, and I think we'll be fine.
The Norwegian singing makes this.
No,
yeah.
Kofi,
Stop it. That was
no. But then again, with this movie now coming out before Flash, they probably had to do some creative reshuffling, and so they need to call in Ben for a favor. And they probably paid him a ton of money to just show up. So he's like, yeah, okay, absolutely. Yeah. My life is in order. Chris. Everything's great. Let's do it.
Shout out to Chris Chipperson, who said, "Is J-Lo the Alfred we all needed?" That's a great comment. I do love Jeremy.
There was another great comment. Somebody said, "Can she bring Cavill back too?" I mean, quite possibly. Yeah. Peter says the singing of my people is beautiful. How dare you, Jim? I agree.
Are they your people? I didn't know that.
I mean, I'm not touching that, but we're going to move on and say.
I didn't know.
Janelle, how are you feeling as somebody who's been trying kind of, not really, to desperately get away from Batman stuff?
You know, I feel like at this point in any comic book movie or film, we will no longer just get whoever is the feature person. Like, it will never happen again. That was a phase 1 of life in superhero world that we got to actually get backstory and deep dives and like really understand these characters and really flesh out the villains. No, it will always have crossover. It will always have Easter eggs. It will always find a way to try to pull somebody from the past that's going to blow it up, and everybody can talk about it on Twitter. So I've pretty much just, I'm not even surprised when I hear anything at this point on anything ever. I'm like, okay.
The comic bookification of movies has finally happened.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly. Perfectly said. Yeah. So
this is what
I'm not mad at it, because that's what it's about. You know, it's nice.
I mean, I get to a point. You're right, Janelle, right? Where these movies now live or die on who may or may not show up, right?
Yeah.
Like how, like, you know, people were disappointed when, neither Tom Holland or Tobey Maguire showed up in Doctor Strange. They were never supposed to, but like, because of what happened in No Way Home and all that, everyone's like, well, maybe they'll show up here, and then they didn't, and then people got upset. Or
it's the same thing for Cavill even showing up to Comic-Con.
Like,
it was never a thing, and now there's like theories out there, like, oh, was it planned and then COVID wrecked it? I was like, man, the theories you guys make up in your heads is amazing.
Right. It is affected real life situations, not even the movies anymore.
Relax.
I mean, I was genuinely upset when Strange was not in WandaVision. So like through and through, like almost like, why did I watch this? Like, he was the rabbit all along. Like, I was so mad.
He was the rabbit.
I thought he was the rabbit.
I think that's why I love Miss Marvel so much. Okay, let me take
right.
bias.
We're kind of
that was one of the
Carol,
many reasons I loved Miss Marvel so much.
Did you only watch it for Carol to show up? Is that why? And then happy when she did?
And I didn't care that she necessarily did or not. It was awesome that I honestly was surprised they actually managed to make it happen just because of scheduling and stuff. But that did not make or break the series for me. I mean, I say it on here and I always get kind of I feel like I'm always like the hater when it comes to that. But it's like, I don't care about Easter eggs and cameos anymore. That stuff doesn't, whatever, it's fine. Like, it doesn't make or break a movie or a show for me. So like, if the entirety of the show or movie succeeding hinges on someone appearing, to me, that means that movie or show failed. because it shouldn't have to do that. It shouldn't be reliant on one thing like that to make it work. So, you know, I like the ones that kind of tend to focus more on stuff. I think that's why that show worked for me overall, because like its biggest fault, you could say, was that it didn't cross over more, was the Marvel-y stuff, the Marvel-y ties of it all. And it didn't really do that, but that's why I liked it. I'm very intrigued. Like She-Hulk looks to be a complete departure from that, because it's got Hulk right smack in the middle of stuff. It's going to be very tethered, it seems like, to the rest of the MCU. So we'll just have to wait and see how.
Well, just to bring it full circle, I do not like Affleck as Batman, and I'll just leave it at that.
Janelle,
I'll just leave it at that.
What, Janelle?
We can't throw that grenade in here.
Yeah, I was going to ask this later. I was going to ask this later, but now I definitely know why you dressed as a Star Trek red shirt today, because you are stepping out here to die on the mission. All right, good for you. So for the record, Janelle Wheeler, favorite Joker, Jared Leto, but does not like Ben Affleck Batman.
Oh my God,
you are a brave, you are a brave person to be on this island. You know, sharpen those tree branches. Get ready. Anybody comes floating towards you, you know, be wary. But yeah, I mean, go for yours. I mean, I'm happy to have Ben Affleck as Batman back in just about anything. And, you know, I think we're doing both Marvel and DC is in this weird transition period with actors. And so we're just kind of maybe writing a few swan songs. I'm not getting my hopes up too much for this. That is more than a cameo, just like he's going to be in Flash.
Oh, for sure.
So like, it's nice. It's nice. And, you know, let's,
well, if we get Ben Affleck's Batman grumble one or two more times before he sails off into the sunset, I'm okay with that.
I'm good with it. Yeah.
So let's move on. And I mean, this was we're halfway into our second discussion anyway, which is what's going on with Marvel on the Marvel side. So yeah, we came out of Marvel, did a whole big Hall H panel, of course, this year, and there was a lot thrown at us. I'm always Kevin Feige's a master magician, because when you're like done later, you're kind of like, wait a minute, what did I really get out of all this? But he's good at that 3-card money. So, you know, we only ask these questions later, but we found out confirmations about stuff we already knew. A lot of, like, you know, Captain America 4 now has a title. Agatha has a new title. We got the rest of but we got a roadmap, right? And going in, this is kind of what people have been saying they're lacking. So right now we know that Phase 4 is ending this fall with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. We'll touch on that in a little bit. But as you can see, if you are watching up on the screen, we have what was kind of one of the bigger reveals, which was the entire slate for Phase 5 of the MCU. And
well, not the entire slate. There's a movie. There's a movie or two that are dated that are not on here. That is also there.
Technically, you are correct, but this is a pretty complete slate as is, right? Like, we got a lot thrown at us, and I'm sure there's certain things they're not saying because it may be big surprises just to say certain names at this point. So you got to hold those back, but we got we got a lot more than when we walked into Hall H, correct? Like, yes, we can all agree on that. Yeah. We know Phase 5 will start with Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and we'll end with the Thunderbolts. I'm posting up theory pieces that hopefully we'll start making videos for soon. Basically, kind of breaking down what this Phase 5 thing is all about. We know this is all part of the multiverse saga in the larger sense, but Phase 5 looks like it has the potential to shake up a lot of things and a lot of the order of things, from the cosmic to the earthbound, with, you know, some big shifts in, you know, who's on top and who's in control. It looks like there could be a kind of a big rise on the bad side of things in this phase. We know people like Wilson Fisk will be kind of coming back into the picture. Thunderbolts is the ending of this. So, you know, we know the villains are going to get their moment in the sun by the end of this. Captain America New World Order looks like, it basically says there could be a new world order. And now there's a comic reference, but it could also be a reference to things that shift once again in the MCU if they want to try to get that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Winter Soldier magic back, with some big shifts on that side. Secret Invasion looks like it could be turning things upside down within the Skrulls and the cosmic stuff. The Marvels looks like it could be the same way. So, yeah, what did you guys think of this Phase 5 thing? And of course, a little thing called Daredevil Born Again could be building up that Marvel.
Oh, that little thing.
Defenders, that little thing could be helping us build up that whole Marvel.
The star of the phase.
Yeah.
The guiding light.
So, what'd you guys think, Matt? What was your take on all this? We haven't heard from you really about
really.
Comic-Con. Yeah,
I haven't. Oh, okay. Okay. Number one, look, I
Matt's
just love
given up
seeing...
on the MCU. He doesn't care.
No, that's not true. I love seeing Ironheart up there, man. I'm just gonna. It makes me all happy. This makes me happy. I can't wait. Plus, we got our first look and stuff, which we'll get to later, right? But I mean, truly though, for Phase 5 anyway, to me the star of the thing was Daredevil. How do you like? For me, like when we talked about our rankings of Marvel shows not crazy long ago, Daredevil was right at the top of 2 out of 3 of our list, right? For a reason. So to have that, just to have Cox coming back, one is big in itself. Then to have Wilson Fisk coming back, right, is a big thing. And then for it to come back as a 18 episode series, which is just like incredible these days, when we're used to like long shows being 13 episodes, right?
That's what I mean. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's 18 episodes. That's too long." And I'm like,
that's
"What do you mean
ridiculous?
Normal television is 23 episodes."
Yes, I saw. Okay, number one, I saw that happening in the phase reaction, and I was like, "Okay, you guys are talking about this like it's VHS. Like there are still network television episodes that are 22 episode seasons. Law and Order does it every year, right? So like, come on, that's normal." Like, and this is pretty cool because we're always complaining that like 6 is too short, and they're actually giving this almost like a full season order. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I hope it's one season.
Intrigued.
I hope they don't cut it up or whatever. Like, I hope it is one giant season.
I am very well. I wouldn't hate it if they chopped it up into like a chapter 1, chapter 2 thing, like Stranger Things, maybe a little less lopsided.
The original Daredevil seasons on Netflix were longer than that, right? And like arguably those seasons could have been trimmed a bit, and I think this is probably the right number. Weren't they 20 episodes?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, maybe not.
I think the Netflix ones were a little bit small. I mean, they were still longer than like
maybe
6.
maybe they felt like forever. Maybe that was the problem.
Boo. But yeah, I mean, I think just to me that's the one that stuck out the most. And then on top of that, the icing on the cake when we got to look at the new suit in the She-Hulk trailer. Just like I think this was just like Daredevil's show. I know we'll get to some other big reveals coming for Phase 6, right? But to me, like it was Daredevil's presentation.
After hearing about what was in the footage for Secret Invasion, I am even more mad that Secret Invasion is not an Avengers level movie.
I could care less about that show.
But like
but that's why.
It sounds they haven't done anything to make us care, to be fair.
I agree with you. It's what that event is supposed to be.
But if the show ends up with like there are heroes that have been Skrulls all along kind of thing, and that is not something that plays through the next couple of movies before culminating in a giant Skrull battle for an Avengers movie, like how do you not do that?
Well, this whole thing is, again, we're dealing with something that looks like Phase 5 will reveal like a major kind of villain surge and an upheaval. Like we're in a vulnerable world. Phase 4 is all the trauma therapy, mini phase. Everybody's kind of effed up out there. All those Avengers didn't come out of Endgame looking happy. None of this for the heroes is looking happy. Everybody's got problems. And now it looks like in Phase 5, the villains could like you said, Secret Invasion could reveal, holy crap, we don't have as many heroes, or things are not nearly as secure on Earth as we thought when there's Skrulls everywhere. People in the comments to answer some questions that are flying by. Yeah, I suspect this whole arc with Daredevil starting in She-Hulk, going through Echo, going into Born Again could leave us with Mayor Fisk, as that whole arc with Mayor Fisk, and Mayor Fisk could even bleed into whatever happens with the Thunderbolts, right? This all seems like it could come together in a kind of way, and I think Secret Invasion will just be the kind of larger implication that Carol Danvers could be in a lot of trouble up there, more trouble than she thinks, before kind of all of that goes down in the Marvel. So, I mean, there's a lot on the board that I'm confident about and that I feel like, is going to be exciting in Phase 5. But
I just hope there's that moment like in the comics. It doesn't have to be the exact moment. I'm not saying that because I'm fine with MCU twisting things. I just hope the impact of that was such a big moment when they first discovered that like Elektra is a scroll, and then you start peeling back the layers, and there's more and more and more. That was so rewarding, and it was such a awesome mystery. Like that new Avengers run rules.
I think that Secret Invasion will begin with that. I think,
but it has the potential to be a Hydra was Shield level reveal that you felt in the MCU for movies to come.
This doesn't have that feeling.
We're still feeling the ramifications of Hydra was Shield. Now,
I don't think anything they can do in this one series. It's a Nick Fury story. So, like, you're obviously not going to have that kind of effect. It's not going to be.
And Nick Fury wouldn't let it be that kind of effect. Like, he's not going to announce to the world. It's going to be, I would suspect it's going to be him finding out that big reveal. And there's this thing called dramatic irony, remember? Like, we'll know. The other characters in the MCU won't know, but the audience will know. And that tension could keep you going because you don't know when the next time who's a scroll, where's a scroll, like all that could come.
I think that scale is way too small for what it is being pitched as for all intents and purposes.
But here's the thing though, right? So Secret Invasion is in the obviously the very early part of Phase 5. Thunderbolts is at the end. I almost wonder, and Brywood mentioned in the chat before I got a chance to say it, Val may play a very key role here in that Val may be the Norman Osborn of what happened in Secret Invasion, right? Secret Invasion happens. Norman gets the kill, the kill shot on the Queen, and then all of a sudden he gets Dark Avengers. Yeah, Dark Avengers, and that's probably going to be inevitably what Thunderbolts is. With Val setting that up.
I think also Young Avengers, I think when, and I just wrote this feature up, I think when you start to have the Thunderbolts kind of pop up at the end of Phase 5, now you've got a topsy-turvy world. We don't know who scrolls. Now the villains are being kind of pitched as heroes, so you're going to need hero teams that are not going to be official or by the book. And I think you'll see in Phase 6, and why they can't reveal a lot of this, is you'll see the Defenders be the street level ones like New York that could even pull in Tom Holland's Spider-Man, who's now street level again. And you'll see the formation of a new Avengers squad of kids who say, we're going to take up this mantle. Like these adults, this world is screw up, kind of like the Champions did. And again, you're merging Dark Avengers and Thunderbolts, Champions and Young Avengers into these kind of more streamlined things. But that would be the disillusioned kids are like, screw this. Right. The old Avengers are gone or like retired or the world's getting nuts. Like somebody's got to step up and that'll be them. So I think that's what we're going to do. I do want to just take a minute because we did have Peter load this up because as you, Matt, and Jim were talking about earlier, these phases are going to be moving by at a faster clip. And people have been kind of wondering about that. But we got to talk to Kevin Feige during Comic-Con. And he kind of explained the logic of why now we're seeing these phases move so fast. So we can't play that little clip for us, please, Peter.
But as we were laying out, and even 3 years ago here, laying out Phase 4, which we didn't lay out all of, but most of, we realized that it's very different than Phase 1, 2, and 3. That there are more projects in less years, and therefore it didn't seem right to culminate. Not going to culminate every 10 months in an Avengers movie. And each of the films themselves now have become quite big and are crossover events in many ways. And after the creative experience we had with Infinity War and Endgame, it felt like it was about capping a saga, saving back-to-back Avengers films for the completion of a saga. And that's really what we wanted to lay out today.
There you go. That was Brandon Davis, Phase Zero host at Comic-Con 2022 after the Marvel panel. And so, there you have it. That's kind of what Kevin Feige said. This could feel like we're moving fast, but you got to remember now we're pumping out Marvel content from all sides to kind of move this story. And so, therefore, we kind of got to move faster.
I just appreciate that we have a destination, right? Like that feels like the thing that it was kind of missing. We weren't sure when we were going to get an Avengers movie. Now we do know when we're getting an Avengers movie, and we know kind of everything that's happening in between. And I think that's key, right? I think like that's been one of the biggest, to me, one of the most valid criticisms of Phase 4 so far is why is all of this happening? I don't need I don't need you to hit me over the head kind of thing, but I feel like a good chunk of the post-credit scenes, like in a way, have been wasted to not kind of like point to to something else. And now we've got it. And now I think, now it's good. Now the fan theories can fly.
Oh, joy.
Yo,
let the
joke. That's our money.
run.
Hey, chill out. That's yeah. We need that speculation.
Yeah.
All right, I think we only have a couple of things. We had a question here. Will these phases in the multiverse saga be able to capture the same kind of magic as the Infinity Saga? I think so, but I don't think in the same way. I think what Phase 4 has kind of proven to us is that Marvel Studios will be able to, what they're doing is they're kind of reaching out and appealing to a wider demographic net. And so they're kind of picking up people in pieces, like the community who really embrace Miss Marvel heavily, young people, Middle Eastern people, and who recognize that series. That's a pickup right there. But maybe it didn't appeal to some other people who were in for Phase 1. Same thing with Moon Knight and across the board, She-Hulk, and all these other series. So they're going to give people bits and pieces of what some people like here, what some people like here. We'll still have big events connecting us, but I think we'll never get back that same kind of thing, that I lived through and made a career during Phase 1 and 2 and 3, where we were all kind of on this one central kind of journey. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where we all had to show up just at the movie theater every year or so and, then talk about it. So it's going to get a lot more complicated and deep, but I think for a lot of different people, some of the magic will be there that they didn't even feel before, right? Yeah. So, that's the complicated answer.
Yeah, perfectly said. My only criticism in any of this was I wish I had Avengers. I wish I had it spread out. I don't like that Feige's trying to create the end game and all of again, I don't know why he feels like he has to do that. I think we need the Avengers. I think 4 was really a letdown. When I really think about it, because of the pandemic and everything else, 4 didn't really give me much excitement. And I feel bad for it because it's the guinea pig, because they introduced all these shows for the first time into this world. And so I feel like 4 will always kind of be, I don't know, a little weak because of that. And hopefully in 5 and 6, they're going to start getting that system. They're going to understand how to work all of the shows in with the films and just get it really well rounded. And so I have really high hopes, and I think they will recreate the magic, but in a different way. And without the Sorcerer Supreme. I'm just kidding. I really want Strange. I'm so nervous that he's going to be gone soon.
No. He's the new Iron Man for sure.
I hope so.
He will be the one to.
No,
to
Benedict's retiring to the dark dimension for a couple of years. We all know. We all know it's coming. It'll probably happen in Phase 6 somewhere.
Yeah.
Matt, let's switch things up just to kind of move things along, because we can wrap this up, and we'll wrap it up similarly than how Hall H played out. But let me ask you, because do you think something like Young Avengers will be saved for a showcase like D23? Do you think we could get that kind of layout or reveal at something like that?
I think, okay, for one, I think anything Fantastic Four related other than, hey, the movie's happening, would be D23. I think that stuff, anything like casting or anything like that, is saved for a bigger of Disney's own event. I think that's the thing there. I do think Young Avengers would be a D23 level thing of, hey, look at this, because of what it implies. And also, if you're going to announce it, are you going to announce part of the team? Are you going to, you know what I mean? Are you going to go any more than just, hey, here's a logo and a date? I do think that, I don't know if it gets announced though at this D23, because of all the things we just talked about, of how there's still a lot of dominoes to fall. There's still things that need to be revealed for Phase 5. Maybe they do those. Does Young Avengers fit into Phase 5, where Jim was talking about those dates that don't have movies yet, or is it a Phase 6 thing?
I think Phase 5 non-dates could possibly be more sequels,
right?
Things like that. Yeah.
So I think Phase 6 would be that. Is it too far out with all the dominoes you have yet to knock down with Kang? Because Kang obviously has a part to play in all that, right? So we've now know he's going to be this huge piece, but we haven't seen any of that stuff hit yet. I don't know. I think they might hold on that one.
But the beauty of Kang is Kang can be everywhere. Kang can be in everything. Starting
right. But
from
I'm saying
all
we
the different
haven't yet
versions of
seen
him.
all that stuff
Yeah.
actually happen on screen yet. So they might want to save that reveal for a little bit further on when people can, like, I don't know, connect it to something. But I do think it is a D23 level thing.
All right. All right. So let's just close out. Marvel closed out Hall H with revealing Black Panther Wakanda Forever's trailer. And yeah, it was a pretty stunning showcase, to say the least. I think, oh, that wasn't it. That was something else. Yeah, it was, there we go. Yeah. So I think everybody can say this was pretty breathtaking, beautiful stuff that obviously highlights, and without directly highlighting, the tragic loss of Chadwick Boseman in real life, and introduces the kind of, to the world, the controversial choice that Marvel made to not recast T'Challa, but to kind of go with this story of reflecting the mourning and the loss of the character while introducing a whole new character in Namor and the undersea world of Talokan. I believe I said it right. Is it Talokan? Am I getting that right? Anybody fact check me?
I think
right.
so.
So let's just go around. What did you guys think about the trailer? I just said my piece. I also did a live stream reaction to it in real time, which was hard because I didn't know how emotional I could get, but I think I tucked my tears into the couch pretty well, and nobody saw. So good on me for that. But what did you guys think of the trailer?
Janelle, Jim?
Gosh, extremely emotionally moving. Also, not a lot of questions have been answered, like who is Black Panther and what is the storyline really about. I feel like if you're going into this having not read any of the comics, you don't know about any of the the rivalry with Namor or anything like that, what has happened in the past. I had to go Google it. Like, wait, why is he coming for Wakanda? Like, I don't understand. I thought that maybe they'd be a team up. Honestly, I was very confused. I feel like you're kind of like, I don't really know. I don't know what this is about, but I feel emotionally moved and I feel extremely drawn to it. And it's beautiful. And honestly, the biggest takeaway for me is like women in power. Like, I'm just thinking of like these ladies are dominating and they're leaders. And that was just incredibly inspiring and exciting for me.
The moment with the Queen just saying like, I've lost, I've lost everything, and like I'm the most powerful.
She asked him, have I not given everything, or have I not lost everything?
Right.
Yeah. Angela Bassett is an Oscar
that was a
level actress. Don't you ever forget it.
Chills. I mean, legitimate chills during that. And I made I tweeted something out yesterday. I saw a tweet from Daniel Kibblesmith about everyone's first comic should be something that is just in the middle of something absolutely wild and bananas, and then you just kind of catch up for it. And I think that's where we're getting to the point with some of these movies, right? Like, I think there's always a need to want to like be in the know, and the Marvel movies have like created this like, oh, well, I need to know something or I'm going to miss something. But I think what this does, right? And Janelle, to your point, right? Like, this was a teaser trailer, so we're only going to get bits and pieces. There wasn't a story trailer or whatever yet. So we'll get that. That's coming. But like, the idea that like there is a nation out there that can potentially bring Wakanda to its knees is all I need to know. I think for me, right, to kind of get excited, right? We saw how powerful the nation of Wakanda is, and that there is actually a threat out there is interesting. And I think a lot of the shots and stuff with Namor are awesome. I think Tenoch Huerta looks awesome as Namor. I am excited to see more of the Dora, which I think are way underappreciated in the MCU. Like, they are legit, badasses. And so yes, like I think to they knew they needed to bring something. Right, and we got the Ironheart tease in there.
Yeah, we did.
Great, like, and so like they knew they had to bring something, and I think what they brought delivered. And I don't think even days later, looking at that trailer, people are going to be like, I don't think so, right? Like, so I think that's we're now on the road to Black Panther hype and promo, I'm ready for it. Let's go.
Before we move on, I gotta echo what Kofi said, and the fact that it's really impressive how this trailer didn't it handled the subject matter so delicately and so elegantly, and got across the message that it wanted to get across without directly referencing it. It was really impressive. It's a gorgeous trailer. And also I just like, these are the cool things, right? If you're gonna do a first look at Ironheart, it's awesome to mimic the Iron Man shot from the first one. Like, those are the kinds of Easter eggs I love. Like, that's cool because it doesn't mean I gotta go hunt down issue 70 whatever in like 1954. Like, it's not, I don't have to do that. It's still a cool homage, and it gets across the link in a really fun, subtle way. So I really dug that. But I think, to what Jim said, I think you don't really need much. I mean, you could just jump into this and go like, hey, there are a few forces out there that have the power and the numbers to take on a place like Wakanda. And like, Namor is one of those. It's one of those few people, right? I mean, most of the earth is under his control. So that's a cool thing. I'm stoked for it.
I think it's also, there's a smart way, and I think this trailer hints at it, to lay out why. First of all, I wrote an article for Comic Book Marvel, basically saying, like, I have a lot of reactions to this Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer, but I hope that, because this movie is taking two very seemingly incongruous things and putting them together, which is this rumination, the tragic loss of T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, but also the introduction of this new fantastical character and world and the expansion of the MCU. And so I really hope they handle it well, because there is a thin line between, and there's a growing debate about this, about what it is to recast this character, and should comic book icons be limited to actors or be honored as the icons they are in the tradition of passing them on and doing that so the character endures for children and things without having to stop the character. But I hope they can pull off both balancing acts very well in this movie. And
if there was anyone who was going to do it, it was going to be Ryan Coogler.
Oh, I trust Ryan Coogler, but in the article, there's one thing, like, people, like, I hope that these beautiful shots that we see in this trailer make it to the finished film and don't get like weirdly VFX'd and, kind of meddled with, and the beauty of these naturalistic kind of, these real cinematic parts, that Martin Scorsese would even approve of, with the actors mixing acting and the real life feelings they're feeling. I hope those stay intact. I also think that it's kind of rated that there's a good story about a kingdom who's lost a king that they very much respect, even in death, and will still stand for, even in his absence and death. And a person who is a very kind of king trying to prove himself because he is not as loved by his people, and he is kind of an outcast, and what Namor can learn from T'Challa's legacy and all of that to kind of move him towards being a hero.
Oh man, I didn't even think of that.
Because and still spin off the whole mutant thing, right? And still say that because that's why he's not loved by his people, which they hint at this trailer. When you see little baby Namor with his winged baby feet, which are, awesome, cute.
You got the wings, man.
Yeah. But him being kind of not blue skinned and, all of that kind of being at play, and what is it to be a king? What is it to make a nation, and all of that stuff? So I can see a very powerful story there, and in a very Shakespearean story. And so I hope that's what we get, and it doesn't kind of get to like the end of Black Panther 1. I hope we really hit somewhere a little bit.
Stick the landing.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. So, so I think that's Hall H. Anybody have any finishing thoughts? We are long overdue for a break, we want to take a break?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's pay some bills, take a break. Hey, if you guys are watching on Twitch, we love you, but also we have a Comic Book Nation YouTube channel, so don't be afraid to subscribe to that, because it's going to be more than these live streams. We're going to have videos and all kinds of stuff. You can interact with us more after the show, so be sure to subscribe to that. We'll be back in a second. Welcome back to Comic Book Nation, your one-stop shop for all things geek culture and the official podcast of comicbook.com. If you haven't, check out our YouTube page and subscribe. But the conversation will continue to move on to this lengthy topic of what DC brought to Comic-Con.
The silence.
I mean, they brought something.
The Shazam verse. They didn't even call it the Shazam verse or frame it that way, but that's what I would have done. But they brought the Shazam verse. So we got the trailer for Shazam 2. Let's start there because we had Peter upload all this media. And so, we had and it looks like a movie. It looks like a good, solid 2010.
It looks like a movie.
What?
2010 superhero movie, right?
Shazam was one of the best surprises the year
God.
it came out. I can't remember what year it came out, but it was one of the best surprises the year it came out.
Can we just props? This trailer uses one of my favorite Eminem tracks.
Let's get down to business. Yeah.
I love that song. I love that song. I love that beat, and I was just so happy. I mean, that it made me like this trailer 2 times more.
But this trailer was really, the real story of this trailer is David F. Sanders basically flexing that he got double the effects budget and stuff this time.
Good for him.
So,
he deserved
good
it.
for him. A lot of these shots, like him sliding under the car, or how many times we get to see the Marvel family doing their thing. Like, obviously, the ducats were thrown out for this one. And so I'm excited to see this. I mean, I sounded kind of, lukewarm at the beginning, but I'm always lukewarm on Shazam. I'm always lukewarm on Shazam as a character. I'm sorry. I'm never going to stand for Shazam. Like, it's just not the best I think Shazam is ever going to be. Was in the end of Kingdom Come, and that's the best I think it's ever.
We're actually going to talk about a Shazam book next week. So
awesome. But this trailer looked good, and like I said, I think the dopest thing about it is the Marvel family. I'm here to see Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren get to chew scenery together. So I'm not mad at Shazam at all.
Yeah, I think about and that's the other thing too, right? Where I think the getting to see the character of Shazam, with Billy and all that, get to play against like bigger threats and that are very serious. I mean we just saw there's freaking dragons in this movie, right? And so I think that's definitely be a lot of fun to see. I'd say the jarring thing was to see how grown up everyone is in this movie. But I think look, if this doesn't inevitably end up with some Black Adam connection, then I will start having some questions. But I'm in. I loved Shazam. I'm ready for this one.
So let's Janelle, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think this is going to be so fun and cute. I loved the first one, and it is crazy how grown up they are looking, and like they need to get on it. I kind of feel like there was a little bit too much time, but obviously we know there wasn't a lot of control over the time constraints. Right. But yes, it would have been nice to have this a little sooner. But I am excited about it. I think it'll be really fun.
Listen, guys, we are also in phase 4, so I know we always like to go circle around the whole group, but I think we're going to start moving things, and we're going to get 2 comments here, 2 comments there.
Love it.
We keep things moving because we got a lot to do. So let's talk Black Adam real quick. Let's throw this to Jim and Matt, since you guys will be talking wrestling, and Black Adam, of course, comes from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And you guys are the biggest, probably, Black Adam stands here. How'd you guys feel about this latest trailer?
Just give it to me. Just put it
directly
that's what the
into comments
my
are saying, right?
Just give it directly into my eyeballs.
Yeah.
Look at that, Dr. Fate.
I did an interview with Rob Liefeld, creator of Deadpool, over the weekend, where he said Black Adam must be the biggest Hollywood flex in all of history, where The Rock is making a movie that is basically a character that looks like him. He said, "Oh, that's a superhero? Looks like me? I'm gonna make that movie." Perfect. And did.
And it
took
looks
him 10 years.
Awesome.
But it looks great.
It does.
And
visually.
Visually,
this looks
look at this.
Superbly awesome. Yes.
It looks so
right.
Good.
Like the fact that there were not more the most electrifying man, jokes made during this, really kind of let me down. But it was funny
and props to The Rock for making that entrance.
Right. 100%. But for so Brandon got to talk to The Rock for a bit, and in that interview, and there's a story I think Russ is going to do for us. The Rock kind of alludes to, he goes, yes, the power dynamic and all of that, in the DC universe is going to change, but I I would not be surprised. The way The Rock was talking made it seem like he was basically ready to carve out a corner of the DCU in a Zack Snyder-esque kind of way, and it starts here. Where I can see Warner Brothers doing more with $7 production and giving him a corner of the DC movieverse and let him build his own little world.
Especially if this does well. If this fills at the
DC,
box office, I
worlds.
would not be surprised to see that happen.
There is no reason this movie should not. I mean, unless it is truly terrible.
I mean, I know. From what it looks like, it should be. Like, this is a no-brainer. But we've said that before on things, and then
we have been burned
out.
before.
Yeah,
but
we'll see. It looks. No, I'm in.
I mean, what else are you going to build? The Ezra verse? Is that what we're going to do?
I mean, but that's what I mean, right? Like, could you imagine a DC movie universe led by Dwayne Johnson? Like, that's kind of wild.
I mean, it's the best.
Like, there's all this talk about Dwayne Johnson running for president. Dwayne Johnson leading DC films
while being president
kind of
awesome.
Feels like the same thing.
But if Dwayne Johnson is owning superhero movies and being president, then we have a problem because he's basically just Lex Luthor at this point.
And that means Kevin Hart's coming to the DC universe too, because they work together on everything.
I mean, they have a movie opening this week. We didn't review it because we didn't really have time to screen it and over the Comic-Con hangar. But DC's League of Super Pets might be a big talking point by next week's show. So
just go watch them slap each other with tortillas. You'll be great. It's a great video.
All right. So that's what's happening. No Snyderverse in the future of DC, and overall kind of an underwhelming thing. We put a lot of chips behind DC this year, and we got burned this year. We were really
I don't think we got that. I don't think we got that. We knew exactly what we were going to get because we knew they couldn't show anything from Aquaman, and they sure as heck couldn't.
No,
show
I mean
anything
just
from
in
Flash.
general. I'm talking about this has been a longer. You guys are hanging out on a Marvel podcast
this
and all that. Don't
when,
understand what it's like on this dark side of the moon. So just chill out. All right, we're gonna move on, but staying with DC and a bright spot in DC to lighten this back up.
Hey,
Harley Quinn is back. So we saw the first 3 episodes of Harley Quinn are back, and my review is going to be simple and short. This show is awesome. It's just, I mean, I feel like in season 3, they really have just kind of found the show. It's hitting its stride. It knows exactly what it is. And they're even getting into the point where I feel like the episodes themselves are more kind of strongly written and have stronger cores to them than just the irreverent kind of, shock and all that we got in like season 1 or the kind of longer time it took to form the story in season 2. I feel like in this one, each episode has like a good, it's like a good theme. It's almost like a sitcom with a twisted way, but I enjoy that. And so I've liked these first 3 episodes, and you really do got to watch them closely because there are some funny as hell, real Easter eggs and kind of jokes and references that are made. And so Harley Quinn and the voice cast still at the top of its game. So,
and James Gunn is in the first 3 episodes.
Yep. There's like I just said, like cameos, Easter eggs. There's a whole bunch there's a Batman Catwoman, joke about that whole thing between them that they play with you for a minute where you're like, wait,
you can point to that whole episode of the escape room.
Yeah,
and that's just one big Batman joke. Right? It's all, and the Nightwing stuff. Oh,
the Nightwing stuff is so They nailed Dick Grayson in this, like just better, and not even like the low hanging fruit like his name. It's just his whole demeanor and his whole psychology. Like this show really gets DC characters, and if you're a real DC fan, like it is super funny. I mean, Harley Quinn. That's me.
You'll never see Marvel do a show like Harley Quinn, and I think that's one of the things that that is just so that you just have to appreciate with Harley Quinn.
Yeah, Janelle, how you feeling about?
Oh gosh, I love them. I just align. I always thought I was a Harley Quinn. I am totally a Poison Ivy. Like I just love her, and I just love her giving 0 F's about any of the things that Harley cares about. And it's just great. Like their juxtaposition in this season is great. Like their chemistry is awesome. Like trifling Joker. I just love it. It's so good. You guys are going to enjoy the heck out of it if you haven't checked it out yet. They dropped, I think it was 3 episodes, right?
Yeah.
3 episodes.
Premiere.
You got to watch them back to back. Like you just can't turn it off. Like it's so good. So yeah, really good job.
Mateo.
Oh, I adored it. I'll keep it short and simple. This is fantastic. Even the 3rd episode, which to me started a little slow, was probably my least favorite up until about halfway through. And then that episode just like kicks into another gear. and I ended up just like loving it as much as anything else. Even like the small little conversations out on the bench between like Kite Man's like ex-girlfriend and his current girlfriend, like all that stuff. It's just, and he ends up having like such a sophisticated conversation in the bathroom with Harley. Like it's the two sides of each relationship having this conversation, and it's like kind of this really deep stuff amongst like someone's head getting bashed in against the toilet, right? It's just so ridiculous, and I love it. It's fun. It's a great show. Watch it.
All right. I'm gonna do just a quick mini review of Nope and say, did I enjoy it? Nope.
What?
No, I did not enjoy Nope. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I saw Nope, and you know, I love you, Jordan Peele. I really do. But nah, this one was a miss for me. And I posted this on Twitter, and people didn't understand why I was coming in hot like this. But I was doing a comparison between Peele and Shyamalan because I think it's time. I think they're both very good auteurs with their unique ways, and they kind of started off real strong with real strong debuts. Then it got a little bit wavier as we went along, right?
But Shyamalan found his way, and you know,
yeah. But I'm just saying, as Shyamalan's opening trifecta was still the strongest thing people look at, right? That was Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Signs. So now we have Jordan Peele, Get Out, Us, and Nope. So and Nope happens, and it's come up because Nope and Signs are both dealing with these kind of weird rural people dealing with, you know, extraterrestrial phenomena. So it's an easy comparison to make. And I like Signs more than I like Nope. So I'm kind of like now doing it. And yes, I get it. I get what Nope was doing. I get everything. Yes, I did like the Halo series by Coyote, Big Bad Coyote Funky. Yes, I did. But that's okay. That's what critics are supposed to be. You're not supposed to always agree with your critic. You're supposed to know what the critic's tastes are versus your taste and how to interpret that. So, yeah, our dynamic works. If I say I hate it, you may love it. But I get what Nope was doing. And it was a very Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood-esque kind of thing of ruminating on the past, show business, the new age of influencers and content creators and what all goes into that. And I get all that. I get Daniel Kaluuya's kind of role as a black kind of modern cowboy versus Keke Palmer's kind of obviously the more modern, always vaping, you know, content creator. So I get all of those layers, and I think there were some really good parts. But I just think Nope was kind of going for this Hitchcockian thing with the slow shots, and even Shyamalan like kind of slow panning shots all the time. And I just don't think it kept enough of a pulse to kind of keep me engaged. So that's all.
Good to know.
I mean, that's all. That's all I felt. I just thought the performances. I think Keke Palmer is a one-woman, you know, show.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, I think she's a one-woman entertainment center, and yeah, she does a great job. And I think Daniel Kaluuya's, and I'm butchering his name, but I think he's awesome too. But yeah, I just don't think this one was as strong for me. So that's all. I'm not going to dwell on it because, like I said, I like Jordan Peele, and I think he still makes interesting films all the time. The Gray Man, we were at Comic-Con, so we didn't get to do the big splash arrival of The Gray Man with two of the prettiest boys in the business, Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. I mean, yeah, I thought The Gray Man was a pretty solid action franchise start for the Russo brothers. Better than some of the other stuff they put out, definitely. Like, what was that? 19 Hours or something with Chadwick Boseman. I can't even remember. 21 Hours, 21 Bridges. 21 Bridges.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And,
I don't remember.
And definitely Cherry. My goodness. So this is a much more solid thing. And Netflix clearly just threw the money in it, and they're trying to bank on that future content block because I don't see how they made a profit off this money or off this movie. Because I was just like, wow, more explosions, more car crashes. Like,
excuse me.
Here's the thing: you can see the money. You know how we talk about movies sometimes, like when we're talking about the Munsters, we're like, where did that 40 million go? There's no question. There's no question where that money went here. There's like car chases and bullets flying and people going underwater and bus scenes. You're like, okay, I see it. I easily see where the 200 mil went on this movie, but I freaking loved this movie. I was so jazzed. I did not. I think it was because the low bar of Netflix original movies to this point. Like I kind of went in with settled expectations, and then I came away and I was just like, halfway through, I was like, oh my god, I'm so into this. Like I was just glued, and I had already seen the news that the sequel and the spinoff had been kind of greenlit, and I was, by the end of this movie, I was so excited because it was like, yes, I want to be back here. I want to see more of this. Gosling's character just rules. Like, I just love the fights and stuff. It was like the perfect amount of Bourne and a little bit of, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just, I dug this. I love this way more than I expected to. I was in.
Yeah, I mean, it also just, I think for me, it was the action, but Gosling is good. And if you, the Nice Guys, he's also great in that. He has that like weird Shane Black-esque kind of late 80s, early 90s testosterone guy, but in a very different way. Like, he's very kind of, I don't know, he's self-deprecating. He's good about he's almost like Tom Hardy-ish. He doesn't have to say much to kind of really just infer like how his character feels. He's very good at doing that. Brad Pitt, Ocean's 11, Rusty, kind of just letting his expression or little grunts or something kind of express for him. And his kind of dry sense of humor in this is very good. Same thing, like I liked Ana de Armas in this because she, not just her being able to do the action or just being Ana de Armas, but the way her character is and kind of the way she kind of like takes charge in things. And Chris Evans, I mean, he just chews up every scene,
the stash
that he's in with that mustache and stuff like that. But everybody, it was just a slick tone to it. Like, everybody even gets slick moments. Like Billy Bob Thornton has great lines and moments in this.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Jessica Henwick by the end has great moments in this. Alfre Woodard is in there for 5 minutes and is awesome. And Danush, who's a very famous, star, comes in here and just makes his good American debut, kicking butt as that other agent. And like, yeah, it's just the Reggae Jean Page, like everybody, the tone and the clip of the movie is what kind of really did it.
He's such a jerk in this.
Yeah.
He's he's so good at it. He was a great jerk in this, but like, I was like, oh my God, I despise you, but in a good way. Because
none of this reinvents the wheel. Like we said,
right.
This is Bourne. This is everything we've seen.
Yeah.
It's that stupid Ryan Reynolds other Netflix movie.
But it just did it really well. It was well executed.
Exactly.
And I was
there was swagger to it. There was a good swagger to it.
And like when you get to the
Gosling.
end, and I won't spoil stuff, obviously, but like when you get to the end and like how all that kind of wraps around, I was in. I was so jazzed about that scene. Janelle, what'd you think?
Yeah, it was just a lot of fun. It was really great. I was home alone, drinking a beer, enjoying some pizza, watching this film. This is exactly why I love streaming, because I get to be in my cozy PJs and just enjoying it. It was action-packed, super fun. Love the chemistry between all the actors. Awesome action, man. The action was amazing. And yeah, I mean, Russo brothers, so good. It was great. I mean, I sound like I'm just so happy and I love everything, but I think I'm just really excited to have so much content for us to take on. Like, I don't have to always just watch Batman or read Batman comics. Like, we're getting so much content right now, and it just feels great because I feel like everybody's really putting their best foot forward. And yeah, I loved it. But I'm not going to go watch Nope now because of Kofi.
So much content, we can't even fit it all in the one
I know.
We are bleeding last night. Like, we haven't even been able to touch that, right?
I know.
What has there been last night?
Paper Girls.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, speaking of content, we gotta shift things around because Jim, always important as big honcho over here at Comic Book, has many things to do, many hats to wear, and so he's got to get out of this little podcast and do some other stuff. So Matt and Jim, why don't you tell us about SummerSlam and what else is going on in wrestling right now, and then we'll do comic books at the end.
It's here in our backyard.
I know. Nashville, Tennessee, SummerSlam hits on Saturday night. I am very excited. This is one of those, we always talk about WWE pay-per-views that kind of don't necessarily build up into the events.
Sorry, I did interrupt, but I have lost the audience with this Nope thing. People are just turning
the comments kind of turned against you there on that one. But this one is especially that because of whether it's injuries or stuff like the Sasha Banks, Naomi stuff, Vince McMahon retiring. This is like the most chaotic lead-in to a pay-per-view in quite some time. So just to set the table a little bit, Triple H is now in charge of creative. Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan are now co-CEOs. Vince McMahon evidently does not have anything to do with kind of plans moving forward,
but being the largest shareholder.
Right. And plus, this event was in a lot of ways already kind of scheduled and had his thumb, his handprint on it anyway. So starting off with this, Triple H is now in charge, right, of creative. So will there be a big surprise at the show? And if you think so, what is that?
Oh man. I mean, I guess it's got to be a return of some sort. But because I think that's the kind of thing, Mark, you need to make. Look, this may be pie in the sky. Like this may be a pie in the sky kind of thing. The Rock has a lot of ties to Nashville.
Oh, God.
And depending on what goes on during the main event with Brock and Roman, this may be the build to Hollywood, to the Hollywood Mania. And what better place to do it than during SummerSlam in general, but then in Nashville where we know there's some ties.
Wow.
The other big return, obviously, that I think we're probably going to see is we'll probably see Edge. I saw a theory out there that Dominic will inevitably turn on Ray, and that will lead to Edge coming out to save Ray, kind of thing. And that could be that could also be fun. I think the crowd will 100% pop at that. And then I think those are the kinds of surprises that I think Triple H may call in favors for, kind of thing, right? And like, so I don't think we're gonna get a.
You don't think Bray comes back, or
I just don't
Johnny?
know where. I just don't know. Johnny I don't think we get Johnny here. I think that would be too fast, right? Like, where does he fit? What is he? Well, I would love to see Johnny Gargano back, right? But I just don't know where he fits to make this, right? And so that, like, there's that. Bray, again, is another one I'd love to see back. I just don't know where, right? The biggest surprise of the night, I think, will be if they let Austin Theory, or I guess it goes by Theory now, right?
Yeah.
Cash in.
Can't have those first names
over Brock or Roman. Look, they at one point, Vince very clearly wanted to set this guy up as as the guy, right? The real question is, like, will they go through with it, or will they go through with it and will he lose? And if he loses, I'll be sad, because I think that then you lose the allure of Money in the Bank.
Right, because we already don't. Well, okay, at least this year though, it wasn't both cases, right? Because the women's was actually cashed in,
sure,
and actually has a champion. So like, at least we got something out of it. It wasn't like in years past where both cases would be cashed in, nothing happened, and then we'd be a year and be like, well, why did we even do that pay-per-view? Like, why? What's the point? At least here we have one change. I don't know what the plan for Theory is as far as like cashing, because even though
he was
being set up for that, was he really going to be doing it at the expense of Roman? Like,
I don't think Roman. If anything, I think he would have gone over Brock.
Right, but now Roman has both.
But man, I wonder if Brock wins, would they give him?
There's no way Brock wins.
But would they give him just
get him to this point? How did you get Roman to this point, and then you're gonna give the title back to Lesnar?
But like, this is the weird thing. He's got, like, are they going to give both titles back? Whoever wins, if Brock wins, does he get only one title?
See, by the way, I'm very confused about that, because they've been very vague on like
I don't
the titles
understand.
split again, or does he get both titles? They say it like both titles go, because they keep saying it's the undisputed, like, that's on the line.
Right.
So that means both. But then you still have the same problem, because then like one person.
So here's the thing. Maybe because for the Money in the Bank, maybe the rule is if Theory cashes in, he can only get one belt. And because he's on Raw, maybe he goes, well, I want the Raw title. So Roman goes over Brock, gets the undisputed thing. Theory cashes in. He can only cash in for one belt. Roman is probably dead on the ground or whatever. Right, all right. Here's the other thing, right? Let's say Rock comes out and rock bottoms Roman, right? And then Theory comes out, gets the pin. He gets one belt. He doesn't get both. They give him one belt, and then Theory goes off back to Raw as the Raw champion, while Roman is still the SmackDown champion, setting up whatever. And that's the only way I can see this happening. I don't see any other thing, because Roman is doing less and less dates. And so you need another champion, especially on the other show,
Right, but then he's got a thing at Clash at the Castle where he's going against Drew McIntyre, and is he not going to have both titles at that point?
Yeah,
I mean,
Drew.
that show has been almost sold out. Like, I don't know. I don't think.
I mean,
The
Roman
only
is
way I
no
can
less
see
of a
Roman
draw.
losing a title is if complete shenanigans is run.
Roman is no less of a draw with just the SmackDown title.
I know, but the way they have booked it to this point, I don't think you do.
He's just gonna eat Drew for lunch. Like, let's just be like that match.
Squash.
It's gonna be a squash match. He's gonna squash.
No, it's not gonna be a squash match.
But there's no way Drew is going over Roman.
Well, no, obviously not. No, I'm just saying I don't think it's a squash
because
match.
They have to set up for The Rock in Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, okay. So before I think the surprise is, I don't think it's a Triple H led surprise. I think it was one already plotted in. I think Bayley shows up. For the love of Lord, please, Bayley return to WWE.
That would be
we need Bayley in the women's division. That's who I want to see. That's who my money's on for big surprise. Again, I don't think that's a Triple H led thing. I think if anything, it would be a cool one-off to get Johnny. He's in town. He's going to be in town. Get him to cut. He doesn't have to re-sign him. Like, it doesn't have to be that thing, but like, get him to jump in on something. And it's like, hey, it's
for what? Cool There's thing. No match for him to jump in on.
It doesn't matter. He will get a pop regardless. And then all it does is feed speculation about where he goes next. It's only going to make
WWE doesn't do. They don't do one-off. Like, if they're going to do a one-off, it's a thing with a legend.
They didn't do one-offs.
They're not
you
doing
were talking
it now.
About the old
everyone
era.
wants to be like, "Oh, Triple H is this big welcome. The Triple H is going to be this big change." Like, no, he will be a change.
I think it will be incremental changes.
Nah,
but if he is looking
bringing
to
Johnny
make
Gargano
a splash,
back for one spot is not going to be fun. I love Johnny. I want nothing more than for Johnny to succeed. But
I'm not saying it's going to be a big change. I'm saying it's just. I think it's that level of surprise. I don't think it's. You're saying The Rock is going to be there.
That's a surprise.
Let's just compare the two. I said Johnny, who's in town anyway for StarCast, is gonna make an appearance. You said The Rock, who's been like shooting movies, got like 9
Zack
movies
Ryder has a better chance of making a surprise than Johnny.
He's hurt.
That's what I mean.
Surgery. Anyway, okay. So, okay, well, I'm gonna skip this next one because we already went over there. Make one title change that will shake up the next few months for the better. What is that? If you can make one title change happens at SummerSlam, what is that from the title matches?
I think it's Austin getting the Raw title.
Okay,
I would like to see that. I like genuinely. I think they have done a great job of building Theory as a heel. They very clearly want to look. They love setting these youngest records, right? And they need to set these new youngest records to keep their theoretically younger audience that's building behind this. And I think that would be the most interesting change. Theory does not need the U.S. title, so I don't think there's going to be really anything there. Roman, I think, will inevitably end up with the belt. I don't think that there's any other like big changes that would like make anything better. I think it would just be setting up new stuff. But I think Theory getting the Raw title would be.
So I have one, and I think it helps the Bloodline storyline to a degree, and I think it's like the Street Profits winning and becoming like tag champs again helps that, depending on how that actually works with the titles, like if it actually splits again or if it's all one or whatever. But I think that gives us new things to work with on the Bloodline side, especially if Solo Sikoa is on his way up. You can spice things up there. You guys failed, so I had to bring in another person of the family to get done what you couldn't do, right? There's fun stuff to explore there. And the Street Profits have kind of been running in place.
Yes.
And they need something to kind of push them. And if you want to continue that storyline of the eventual turn so where you can split them off or whatever you want to do, titles help them move towards that. So I think that would help things.
I mean, that would be, I agree. I would love to see them get a big moment.
Yeah. Cause they've been killing it. And that's going to be, that leads us right to the last thing, which is, but what's best match of the night for you?
You're gonna laugh. The one I'm looking the two I'm looking forward to the most. There's two that are tied, and I'm looking forward to the most are arguably the ones that people are going to hate the most. I am looking forward to Pat McAfee get in the ring, and I am looking forward to seeing The Miz and Logan Paul.
man, God.
I think those matches are going to surprise. Look, we were shocked by the ability that Logan Paul had at Mania. We were shocked by what Pat McAfee could do, and I want to see both of them. I can't wait to see both of them in the ring.
I think it's going to be Becky Bianca. I think it's going to be a killer match.
That's going to be that will also be very good.
That last one was great. I think Usos and Street Profits will be good. That last one again was killer. I know these are both rematches, but the last ones were great, so I don't think it's going to be any different. I did see in the comments, look, Team Liv here, Team Liv Morgan all the way. All right. I've been that sole defender in the Slack.
You and all of New Jersey.
Long damn time. She's keeping that title, damn it. I am all in on the Liv era. She better beat Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey has already appeared on Raw. I think we're moving that way to that Becky matchup they've been teasing. Yep. So I think Liv gets to keep it. I think Liv title reigns on. So that is SummerSlam.
There it is.
I think we wrapped that in a bow pretty quick. Let's move into comics.
Well, we're going to do just in case. You never know, because we got to stream on a lot of places. So for just in case, Jim's got to go. Thank you, Jim. He's going to a meeting. Thank you, Jim Viscardi. This is Comic Book Nation. Once again, we have just launched our own YouTube channel, so please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We love Twitch and our streaming family on Twitch, but we also want to bring you guys more content that will be beyond Twitch during the week. Explainer videos, reacting to things, Comic Book Nation, so we can actually interact with you guys more than just once a week. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, even if you are a regular Twitch watcher or just downloading these and listening to them audibly. Be sure to go on YouTube, look for us, Comic Book Nation, and subscribe. That's a good ending point, just in case they cut off our stream on the excellent Paramount Plus right about here. But for those of you who stay around, you know it's after hours time, and we're doing what this whole podcast was founded on, which is a love of comic books. So Matt, Comic-Con, believe it or not, is still a convention about comic books too. So
what? It's not all about movies?
Let's talk about these pages with the pictures and the words on them this week.
Lots of Batman. There's lots of Batman.
I just realized I messed up and didn't read one of the Batman ones. I read something else somehow.
Wait, tell me you read the one you voted on.
Yes, One Dark Knight. Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Absolutely read that.
I
forgot about Detective Comics.
That's funny. Detective Comics 1062. So this one starts and the reason why we're jumping into this one is because it is starting a brand new arc. It's got a new creative team, and it's essentially a two story issue. So we have the first kind of the Batman main centric one, and then we have a second backup story that really like surprised me because I didn't really know. I didn't know what to expect kind of from the second story, but Simon Spurrier, Ram V handles the first one. This is just a really I like when people Batman creative teams take chances. And again, this is not anything too crazily far from Batman kind of traditions, right? I mean, it's Batman kind of looking at, and this one actually even more so kind of examining regret, fears, the physical toll things have taken on him. But I just really enjoyed like how Ram V kind of brought all those concepts together. And I love we're including more of the Bat family in things. So it's just like back and forth with Nightwing here. It's just, I like a Batman that's a little more vulnerable, a little more open to the Bat family, not so cut off. There is an amount of like lone wolf to Batman, but I like that there's a little bit of a blend here. And then the backup story was actually incredibly intriguing for me. It just focuses on Jim Gordon trying to kind of come to terms with, there's one great line where he's kind of like, I just kind of feel like I need someone to need me. And he's just looking for someone to kind of like, hey, I need your help with something. And he can't really find it in any of the places he's found it before. So it's just kind of this, older cop going on this case that presents itself. And I just really liked this issue overall. I thought this was a really interesting jumping on point if you haven't been reading Detective. And again, not too far from what we know with Batman, but still did some interesting stuff. What did you guys think?
I'm actually a speed reader, so I am reading this. I'm kind of at the Nightwing scene, and I think we talk about first issues, and I think this one, from what I read just about halfway here, is pretty good at establishing a good premise for why we should care about this arc right from the beginning, with Batman kind of mixing in some supernatural things possibly tied to the lore of the Lazarus Pits. You get a little useful cameo from Talia, who they love trotting out Talia a lot these days, but that was a useful one, and it kind of sets up the premise that something else is coming to Gotham and Batman's not ready. And I like the kind of internal thing they're doing with Batman here. Batman stories can sometimes have trouble keeping you connected to Batman, but I like the way they approach him in like this opening fight scene, kind of showing you his process as he's kind of methodically going through things. And it's very much methodical detective Batman, even in a fight, kind of analyzing, assessing, kind of coming to conclusions even. And I like that. That's the kind of Batman I enjoy, because Batman's process is always kind of what's fascinating to me about the character. So far, so good. I'll keep reading while you guys talk.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, this is a great book. I am, even with me getting a little tired of Batman stuff, this is refreshing. It's something different, and I very much enjoyed it. I thought the artwork was really cool.
Yeah.
Gosh. And it's haunting, and just really, it's spooky. It's really dark feeling, and really, I don't know, alluring. Like, I want to know where the heck this goes.
Agreed. And that's perfect. That's what it's supposed to do, right? So yeah, I'm glad. Then we're going to move into some Marvel, of course, with some Captain America Symbol of Truth #3. I've been really digging the dual Cap books, and they're providing different flavors and stuff. So here we kind of move from the Deadpool centric team up of the second issue, and we kind of move into more of Sam navigating the diplomatic relations with countries, and kind of, there's a great line in here where he talks about, you learn what the like shield and the symbol can get you, like where it can get you and what you have like access to, but then also people don't think about like what it also stops you from doing, and what it, because that symbol is there and what you represent, hey, you're not allowed to come over here, and the limitations that also brings. So there's a great scene. If you're into kind of the wider Marvel universe, I mean, there's stuff with Latveria here, there's stuff with Wakanda. All of this is kind of starting to culminate in one larger story. And I just love the stuff between Sam and Shuri and the new Wakandan government, and the back and forth there, like him just kind of trying to navigate the space, not just as a superhero, but also as this kind of working with the government, this symbol too. It's just a really interesting place for Sam. So I really enjoyed this. I like when this series kind of veers towards that and less of the kind of fun Deadpool-y team up stuff. But what did you guys think?
Yeah, I'm surprised by how much I'm enjoying. I didn't know how they would go with Sam Wilson and kind of what the focus would be of like his, obviously his race, his color, and stepping into Captain America would be the major focus. I kind of agree with you that I like that it's all about him trying to navigate this kind of political world of the Marvel universe right now. And I find that stuff far more interesting. Like, this issue it has action, but what's more interesting is just him trying to have these conversations with Doom and the Wakandan, power hierarchy, and just those verbal kind of almost like Marvel meets Game of Thrones-y kind of things, scenes of dialogue are kind of the most interesting to me. And Sam's position of kind of being this Captain America that will at least bend the rules, or just be like, you know what, whatever, I'm doing it anyway. Like, I like his kind of position and all that. So this was fun. I never thought a negotiation with Doom would be so much fun, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, I agree with Kofi completely. Like, this is just really fun. And I know Dr. Doom from Universal Studios Islands of Adventure. It was a ride. It was like my favorite ride. And so the more I actually get to know Doom, I'm just so excited. Like, whoa, my gosh, it's like my childhood. Everything's kind of getting pieced together. And yeah, I also like, I'm really liking Sam as Captain America. And I didn't know. I'm very hesitant. I don't like change. It's hard for me to see people in different roles as like different things and what they are. And I think that they've done a really good job of this.
Yeah, agreed. So moving on to the poll winner, and again, thank you for everyone for jumping in and voting. Batman: One Dark Knight, number 3, the final issue of this DC Black Label adventure, where Batman has been navigating the blackout as he tries to get one prisoner to Blackgate. And this is the issue that actually Jock had teased that Killer Croc would be showing up in, and we get that fight. And there's just this book is like super dark, and not in a gritty, brutal way. It's just like the artwork, because you're in the sewers and stuff like that. There was, I don't know, it was like a tenseness to this issue that I don't think I've felt in the other ones, even though they've also been tense in other ways. But like, it was just a very kind of almost claustrophobic nature to this story, because so much of it is set underground. I've really enjoyed this series. Again, this one kind of goes from, I enjoy the stuff more that's been about the story surrounding EMP and like his son and that side of things. And there's a lot of that, though, for those who just enjoy more of the, kind of classic Batman battles with a little bit of edge, I think they'll enjoy stuff here, because the Croc battle is fantastic. But this one, I tend to like the other stuff, kind of the intrigue stuff, Vasquez and her maneuvering around things and all the twists and turns that story takes, and the emotional pull of the father-son story. That stuff is the stuff that really kind of grabbed me, and there's a lot of that in this issue. So I thought this was a really fun, satisfying finale. I wouldn't say fun. That's probably not the right word. I'd say it was a very satisfying,
intense,
and thrilling finale. Intense, yes. That's perfect. That's the perfect way to say that. Janelle, what do you think?
Oh gosh, I was annoyed. I was like, "Oh no, not more Batman!" But I'm actually so glad that that everybody voted on this one. I think it was a nice conclusion to what I didn't even realize that this is the one we've been reading all along. So for it to come full circle, I thought they wrapped it up really well, and I understood what was happening. And it is very dark, as in like I can't quite see what's happening. I feel like if you were to pick these up, like having it in your hands and seeing the artwork like that would probably be so much more enjoyable, and you could probably appreciate it so much, because digitally, I think it was so dark and so hard to look at on a screen that I kind of missed a few things. But it's not a criticism. I just would recommend like actually getting the physical book. But it's great. Loved it.
Yeah, Kofi, I know this has been one of your favorites.
Yeah, it's gonna be one hell of a trade. As a physical trade, I'm with Janelle. This is a good book to have a thick trade of, and like have it sitting on your coffee table. I think if nothing else, and I know Jock and them love this kind of stuff, but I think this book, and you were talking about the discomfort of it, I think this book, more so than any Batman story I've read, really makes you understand that Batman's superpower is his resolve and his will and his code. And, that all comes into play here. And I like how it intersects with the other story. But you see how much just brutality Batman endures and how scary of a place Gotham really is. And it makes you it made me appreciate that there is that scene on the bridge at the end, not to give away too many deep spoilers, is a perfect kind of visual representation of like exactly what Batman is doing. And it's a perfect kind of little metaphor, like him standing on the edge of this broken bridge that represents Gotham and having this mob of just psychos coming at him and just being the one guy who's like, nah, I'm going to stand here and kick all of your asses anyway. And just all the damage he takes, how badly he gets beat up, cut, lacerated, all of this stuff is just like, it's pretty intense, like by the end, like, yeah. And just as you can see in the cover and the image above, like what he has to do just to keep his costume going in this is just it's insane.
He ties it around his head.
And the way that it ends is just like you shake your head and it's like, Batman really is like his resolve and his will and that human thing about him is the strongest thing about him, because this dude gets effed up in this issue like real hard. And I like that he just doesn't win these fights easily, and he's not all on top of things in this series. Like, this is Batman just being like back against the wall. I got to battle it out a lot. And he sure does.
Yeah. So that's comics.
All right. That'll do it. Well, man, we got quite a lot done, and we didn't even scratch the surface of half of what we should probably be talking about from Comic-Con. There's things like Lord of the Rings, Sandman, House of the Dragon, Star Trek universe future, all of this stuff we were all on hand for, plus a million other interviews. Please go check out our comicbook.com YouTube channel and comicbook.com or
Comicbook Nation.
No, comicbook.com, because we have so much Comic-Con content out there. We did a crazy job down there, and there was so much that happened. Also, be sure to subscribe to our Comic Book Nation YouTube page, because maybe we can break down some more of this stuff and talk to you guys. We'll also be doing much more interactive kind of video content stuff up there, so let us know what you guys would love to hear from us more about, and we can be sure to do that. If you're not following us, be sure now's a great time, if you're subscribing to the YouTube page, to follow us on Twitter at Comic Book Nation, so you can get the latest from us as well. Or if you're looking for any of us hosts, you can find me at Kofi Outlaw.
You can find me at Matt Aguilar CB.
You can find me at Janelle Wheeler.
Yep, and all of us also are busy people, and we do all kinds of other streaming stuff you can check out too. So, if you want to get invested in our whole universe, be sure to do that. All right, that'll do it. We've gone way over time. Our broadcasters are going to hate us, but guys, we do all things geek culture, and there was a little event in geek culture this past week. So what are you going to do? All right, you guys have a good rest of the week. Be sure to check in with us next week. We will be back. And as summer goes on, new things are happening. Exciting things are happening. This is Comic Book Nation. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye, guys.
YouTube.